Sober and Sassy.
Hey!
And we're talking about freedom, home of the brave.
Yep.
And you are brave, especially when you have decided, hey, I not only want to get sober, but I want to walk the path of recovery. And we're here to talk about it today. So God bless America. And happy birthday. Happy 250 to the United States. We're
Yep.
grateful to be here and we're grateful to live in this United States. I'm grateful for my freedom. Not only physically, the freedom of living here, but you know what? Emotionally, that emotional and mental freedom is something that has been an amazing experience for me. Spiritual freedom, financial freedom, especially since I made the decision to not only get sober, but to live a life in recovery. So that is our topic for today.
Whoop, whoop. First thing that pops in my head is freedom comes in many different forms. Freedom comes in mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. At the very top of the list for me is mental freedom. I no longer am dominated by the obsession to drink and drug. Just the obsession, that gnawing obsession that demanded to be fed. You know, the disease of addiction demands to be fed. Gotta have it, gotta have it, gotta have it. Whether it's alcohol or, you know, whether I'm seeking alcohol, whether I'm seeking drugs, whether I'm enabling and seeking out my loved one. Where is he? I hope he's okay. I got to go find him at 2 a.m. in the morning. I got to bail him out of jail again. You know, is he alive? Is he dead? You know, it's that obsession of that mental obsession that will not leave you alone until you answer to it. Oh my gosh. When I came into the program of recovery, people would say, the obsession to drink has been lifted. The obsession to drink has been gone. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Well, that's a tall order statement. So what you are telling me is you're not thinking about drinking? I could not wrap my brain around that. And that is what I wanted to know. Is how do I stop thinking about drinking? And those people were very believable. Now, it did not happen overnight for me, nor did it need to. God knew that I took advantage of good things. My mental obsession took a while for it to go away. You know, I came into the program of recovery 10 feet tall and bulletproof, thinking that I had arrived and I was going to go to a couple of meetings and poof, I was going to be fixed. I wasn't going to read the book, get a sponsor, do all that work. I ain't doing all that. And as a result of that, I went straight back to the liquor store and I answered to that mental obsession time and time and time again. And every time that I relapsed, I'd crawl back into the rooms and sit down just a little bit harder and sit down a little bit longer. And I would listen a little bit deeper. And I'm like, maybe these people are right. Maybe I do need to try a little bit harder. Anyway, the day came, I was probably 3-4 months in of finally getting a sponsor, working the steps, reading the book, being consistent, doing what I was supposed to do, and it dawned on me. I was like, I haven't thought about drinking today. And then I haven't thought about drinking yesterday, and I haven't thought about drinking all week long. And I was like, holy crap, the obsession, the mental obsession has left me. And when I realized that is when I got addicted to recovery. I was like, oh my God, this has happened to me. So, you know, peace of mind is priceless. I now have peace of mind. And you never know a good thing till it's gone, insanity. And you never know a good thing till it's back, which is sanity. You know, I never had anything to compare it to. I always had that insane mental obsession. I never had that mental freedom. Man alive, just that one thing alone. Just that one mental freedom that I have as a result of the program makes me want to cry. Oh my gosh. that I don't have that gnawing obsession that I have to have it, and that I have mental freedom.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. My freedom, because of my choices, was taken away for 2 years. So when I walked out that door, I was scared. I didn't even, Kristy, it was the craziest thing. I was like, what am I gonna do? This is what I've known for close to 2 years, and how am I gonna handle this? So the freedom, the obsession was removed because there was no way in Hades I was getting anything, which is fine. That was my journey, right? Everybody's journey is different. But the beauty in everybody's journey that's listening is we all are going to the same point, and that is that freedom from drugs, alcohol, codependency, people pleasing, freedom from, also eating, freedom from gambling, freedom from sex, addiction, and all of these things. But I think for me, like I said, everybody's journey that's listening, we're all different. And God knew with my addictive personality, my butt had to sit down for 2 years. And so coming out, I was scared to even look at someone wrong.
Your freedom was overwhelming.
My freedom was overwhelming and just relief and so grateful. And that is why all the time, I tell people, you can be grateful for a blade of grass. And people laugh at me about that. And I said, no, really. If you have the freedom to touch a blade of grass, you have the freedom to mow your own lawn. And so for me, coming back, I was very fearful. But the beauty of my recovery program, Kristy, has taught me that I have freedom of that fear. Now, fear is normal. I mean, we all have fear of the unknown. But for me, that freedom of fear has been the most revelation for me. And that taps into my emotional and mental. I can speak it out loud and say, this is what I'm fearful of. And having a spiritual experience with my higher power, which is God, and having that experience and tapping into that experience and knowing I now have a full freedom to know that I have a higher power that not only wants me to survive, he wants me to thrive. And accepting that gift and knowing I'm worthy, that on top of itself is another form of freedom for me.
You had a healthy fear. You had a healthy fear of going back.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which kept you centered. So many people are like, the word fear. Now, fear, the majority of the time, is something that we have to get rid of and overcome. I get it. And that is negative fear. I get it. It's unrealistic fear. It's irrational fear. I get it. Okay, so there's that. But then you hear people talking about healthy fear in the program of recovery. Amy just described that her walking out of jail and staying out of jail was a very healthy fear. That healthy fear kept her centered, focused, and on a mission to find the program of recovery, settle down into it, get a sponsor, start working the steps quickly, to where and that healthy fear helped to keep her sober. I have a very healthy fear of alcohol. I have a very healthy fear of it. I don't have a negative fear of it because I finally know that I have self-worth inside, and that I am finally worthy of being sober. And that took a hot minute. So it was like the healthy and unhealthy fears were battling there for a short amount of time, but I eventually leveled out. And as a result of working the steps and having a good sponsor, all those old irrational fears got taken away. And then I leveled out, and just bit by bit, I got security, I got stability, I got sanity, and I got freedom. freedom to know that I could make healthy choices and go throughout a day without going to the liquor store and hunting down a man or trying to find money or drugs or alcohol and doing something dumb. And I was not afraid of myself anymore. I was in new skin. The program of recovery puts us in new skin. It's a new life.
It is. And, you know, the freedom, the freedom of people, you know, of judgment, and that freedom. But you know, and we've talked about this, you know, if you're listening and you've been to prison or you've been to jail or you've had issues in your family or you've had issues in your city or your state, I mean, you have to understand that we're all human beings and there's nothing to fear but fear itself. But recovery, because more than likely, if you've had these issues, I'm pretty sure about 95% there was addiction involved.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know the numbers, but just with the work that I've done and worked with other people, you know, there's got to be, if the cops are involved or the jails or the prisons, there's got to be some behavioral issues that probably stemmed from a substance. So when I say that, there is no shame. Kristy and I were just talking about this before we got on. You know, shame is the shoulda, wouldas, and couldas.
Should is a shaming word.
It is a shaming word. I should have done this. But today, the freedom that I have comes from my recovery. I cannot stress that enough. Does it mean I do every day right? No, because I'm a human being. Does it mean that at the end of the day I can lay my head on my pillow and said I did the best I could? Yes. And I don't have to worry about, I did for a long time. I don't have to worry about how I'm driving.
Yep.
And when I see a cop pull out, I'd be like, oh my God, what did I do wrong?
Yep.
I don't have to worry about walking into a restaurant. I don't have to worry about walking into a bank. Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about walking into a group of people. Work, exactly. I don't have to worry about those things. I don't have to worry and go look at my phone and say, okay, what did I do last night? Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about what I said to my kids. I don't have to worry about what I said to my family, and I don't have to worry about what I said to my friends. Mm-hmm. And this freedom that recovery gives you is so massive. It is just, sometimes it's so overwhelmingly just amazing.
It's wonderful. It truly is wonderful. And it makes you pinch yourself, you know, that can it really, is it really this unbelievably good? And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I did not think that recovery would be fun or that it would be this good. I mean, I'm a feel good junkie to the bone, man, to the bone. I was a rebellious, disrespectful person, and I was a hellraiser. And so when I came into the program, I was like, I thought it was going to be boring. I thought, you know, that I wasn't going to have any fun and that I would not enjoy it. Look, let me tell you something loud and clear. If I did not enjoy or love the program of recovery, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'm a feel-good junkie, drunk and sober. If recovery did not make me feel good, I wouldn't do it. I'd go back. So that alone right there should help anyone who is struggling, you know, because I was running hard for 25 years. That's a long freaking time. And for me to, number one, get sober is shocking and abnormal. And for me to stay sober is shocking and abnormal. That right there, those two things right there is enough, hopefully, to convince anyone that it's worth it. You know, the struggle is real there in the beginning. When you come into early recovery, you know, you're going to get corrected. So much of a beautiful, wonderful life comes from correction. but it is correction with love. And something that Amy just said too was when we were talking before we got on the podcast, Amy was talking about something that she was overcoming, and we talk about the problem a little, but we talk about the solution a lot. And it's like, all right, so you stumbled, put your big girl panties on and keep on rolling. We focus on the good, focus on the good, focus on the good. And none of us are perfect, none of us are saints, and we're going to have bad days, but I can assure you that my good days far outweigh my bad days. And if it didn't, I wouldn't freaking do it. So.
Yeah. Growing up, even I never felt like I had friend groups, different friend groups, but I never felt like I really fit in. And the freedom to walk into and have friends now and to walk into I'm just going to tell you, I felt uncomfortable a lot. Like I'd go to dinner with friends and, I drank. Before I went there, I used cocaine before I went there, just so I could feel normal. Now, this wasn't in high school. Cocaine came shortly after. But I used to drink and drug to feel normal. I remember a doctor telling me, you have GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. Well, take the drugs and the alcohol away. Well, no, you're normal.
It was 8 balls of cocaine.
It was 8 balls of cocaine. And then I had one say, well, you're also bipolar. I got accepted, just told off some. So I got accepted to a clinical trial of a medicine at the University of Gainesville. This is when I was using cocaine like crazy. And they said, well, and I was married at the time. This was a short-term marriage, one of my short-term marriages. And he said, and his family was like, you need help. You've got mood personality disorder. There's something wrong with you. Well, hell yeah, there was something wrong with me, because I would use cocaine with off the charts. And then I'd go down there and they're like, here's this medicine. I remember I was with some girlfriends and we went to Destin, Florida, and I took my new medicine because I was like, hey, I've got my new medicine. Let me tell you something. That medicine calms your ass down. I had done so much coke that night, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this medicine to calm me down. Girl, I fell down. I was asleep for 9 hours.
Dang.
And it's supposed to regulate your body. It did not regulate my body because it did not mix well with cocaine and alcohol. But having the realization that, yes, I was clinically diagnosed before I ever, started drinking and drugging with ADHD. The freedom of not self-medicating that, and I was on medicine for a while, and it was regulated by a doctor, and I didn't abuse it because I needed it. I got off of the meds because I did not feel like I needed them anymore, and I was on this health kick of just like, hey, and this is when I'm sober with the meds. And so I got off the meds, and I regulate it now, as you know, with exercise, with meditation, with prayer, nutrition, because I am off my rocker if I've had too much sugar. I mean, it sends me into a tailspin. So recovery has given me the freedom to work with my body and be in tune with my body. Recovery will give you the freedom of healthy. And when I am running healthy emotionally and mentally, my physicality starts running healthy. And so, and I'm just now, as we're talking about this, it's like we have so many freedoms if we'll just put down the drink or the drug or the food or the gambling or the sex or the multiple partners or work, yes, or
exercise.
You can listen. I think we're all have an addictive personality, ding, 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 in our brain. A light switch that goes on and off. And if you ever turn that switch on, you need help. But you deserve help. You this life to be lived, you are so worthy of it. You are worthy.
Something else that comes to mind real quick is emotional freedom. Because we've talked about the mental freedom and the physical freedom, and talking about the emotional freedom is I used to be dominated by my emotions. I was a very angry woman, and I was so mad Number one, I was mad at myself. I was mad at alcohol, and I was just mad at my dad and my ex-husband, and I was just mad. I mean, the main thing was that I was mad that my addiction had gotten me to a point that I had to drink, and it was just so embarrassing. But I am no longer dominated by my emotions. That, my friend, that right there was at the top of the list for my recovery. My sponsor would always say to me, "Stop being dominated by your emotions. Stop making angry decisions. Stop being full of self-pity. Stop making decisions on how you feel. Well, I'm sad today, so I'm not going to do anything. Okay, well, you're not going to get anything done because you made a decision based on how you feel. Or if you're angry all the time, you're going to make violent decisions. I was never violent, but that's what do you think anger management is? It's because people cannot control their anger. And
Yep.
Emotions Anonymous, Amy does a weekly devotional and thing on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook on Emotions Anonymous. But I have freedom to be emotionally balanced. Oh my gosh, for me, that is like at the top of my list in my story. That I'm not too high and I'm not too low. People now know kind of what they're going to get from me. I'm still a box of chocolates, but I'm not that bipolar extreme thing, to where my emotions are pretty much balanced, and I have self-control of my mouth the majority of the time. Self-control is mastery. So you have emotional balance, you have emotional freedom. You also have emotional freedom from other people too. That I do not change per the person that is standing in front of me. That's such a big deal, man. I would change. My emotions would change per the person that was standing in front of me. If I liked you, it was all good. Or if my ex-husband walked in the door, my emotions would change. Or if my boss walked in the door, my emotions would change. Or if my best friend came walking in the door, my emotions would change. Now, I am the same regardless of who is standing in front of me. I took my freedom back. I took it back. And I guard it with everything that I have. I guard my freedom. I guard my peace of mind. I guard my peace. You are allowed to guard what you have worked so hard for in recovery.
And what you feed, you will grow. And
Yep.
you are right. I think, we can all have bad moments. We don't have to have bad days anymore.
That's
now
true.
Now listen.
Listen, Linda.
Listen, Linda. I can have 50 bad moments in a 24-hour period sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that has happened. But to have the peace, I'm still working on that. I have to be honest with who I am. Let me tell you, if you come at me yelling and screaming and acting like a wild banshee, guess what? Because I was a fighter. So for me, if I care about you, that will well up in me, and then it's time to go. Let's go. Because I did do boxing for about a year, by the way. Okay?
Can you imagine, like, her
Listen, I'll give you
throat
a right
punching
hook.
somebody?
But
Wow.
I have not been in I will tell you this. I'm very proud of myself. I have not been in a physical fight since
Long time?
long time.
Long time.
Yeah, since before I went away. I'm very proud of myself for
Yay!
that. Yes, thank you.
Good job, friend.
I know, but I can still. The hairs on the back on the back of my neck will stand up if you come at me with irrational anger. which I think may be irrational anger, I will fight back and just tell you to F you and you go on your merry way. That doesn't mean that I will not come back and say I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that, and be expressing how I feel. I've had to do that, and I usually, actually am very good. My older daughter and I were in a conversation about health care, and I kind of snapped back at her but I didn't explain to her about the doctor situation.
Mm-hmm.
So then I came back and I texted her, because she's busy right now, and I texted her and I said, hey, I did not explain to you, this is why I made this decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I love you and I'm sorry. And she sent back a text, I love you too.
Okay.
You know.
We're not perfect.
No, no, perfection. Who wants to be perfect?
Nobody. Perfection is pressure.
It's overrated.
It is overrated. I'm like, I love being a cracked pot. You know, and that's why I love recovery so much. That's why Amy and I come on here and we talk about this week after week after week after week. We just, you know, because we know that everyone is a cracked pot. It's just, does that person know that they're a cracked pot? And once you say, yes, I'm a cracked pot, then your progress in the program of recovery gets rapidly better very quickly. But if you're sitting there in denial saying, I you know, I'm not going to do that, and I don't have a problem, and I don't, you know, then why are you even in a recovery room? Why are you even, you know, going to a meeting or listening to a podcast? You know, it's like deep down inside, we're all cracked pots, you know, and Amy and I tried to give back what was given to us. And we try and say things for people that they are not willing to say for themselves yet.
Right.
Yet. The program of recovery would say things for me that I was not willing to say for myself yet. And so it's just, every baby step matters. And just know that that freedom from drugs, alcohol, people pleasing, work, sex, drugs, alcohol, you name it, you can be free from it, period. You can be free from it. And Amy and I will help you do that. We post at the end of every one of our podcasts a way to contact us if you need resources. All you have to do is send an email that says, hey, I need help with the following. Bam. We're there to help.
And there was a sweet girl that emailed and it went to spam, and I did reply to her. I think it was the same one that emailed you. So, so thank you. I took the spam filter off of the email. And coming soon, we're going to have our website. So we're going to share that with you all too. We're very, very excited about this. Mm-hmm. We want you all to realize that recovery does not take freedom for granted. I took my freedom for granted for a long time. Mm-hmm. It was hit or miss for me.
Yep.
I got in trouble all the time and all the time and all the time. And then finally one day, I didn't get in trouble anymore. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what to do with myself. Yeah. And then peace came. And then it was like I worked so hard to get here, and then freedom from chaos. I went to freedom from the chaos.
God. You know, you brought another really good point up is we're fighters, okay? And anyone in addiction or addicted to a person or a substance, or we're fighters. We are locked in, man. And, you know, you'll either let go or be dragged. And here's the thing is, you'll either lay down or you'll be laid down.
Yep.
You know, and Amy brought up a very good point about that, about, you know, people going to jail. You know, you keep on and keep on and keep on. You know, you'll either lay down or you'll be laid down. You know, same thing happened with me. I went through an intervention. I had the choice to change, but I didn't. I kept on and I kept on and I kept on. you know. And I had the choice to lay down, and I was laid down. So, you know, pride.
Leave the pride.
Don't be like us, okay?
Yeah.
Learn from us and just go ahead and lay down.
Just
We'll
go
help
ahead because you're going to be dragged.
you. Right.
Well, thank you. This was a really good podcast.
We could just go on and on.
We appreciate y'all listening to us. We've got a lot of great things coming in the next few weeks we're going to be sharing with you. We've got opportunities as well for others that want to be part of this program, which we're excited about sharing that with you. But we hope you all have a fabulous holiday. I just don't even look at it as just like one day. I love 4th of July. I love 4th of July. And it's one of my favorite holidays. And believe it or not, I love I love the atmosphere. I love, something I said on my celebration. Yeah. And I will tell you in closing, I said this on a little thing. I said, we no longer have to be this fireworks in relationships. Just be the little sparkler. Yeah. Don't be the big wham bam firework. Just be the little sparkler. Be the sparkler in your life. And freedom is profound.
It is.
So happy 250 America. Happy 4th of July. Whole month of 4th of July. And we hope you all have a great and safe holiday ahead.
Love ya. Mwah, 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 mwah.